super skinny he was, or he is still super skinny, and so he's afraid of the BMI scale, and he's afraid of.
Well, I'm afraid of dying of pneumonia.
Dying, right? Okay. So that graph that he showed about the BMI on the left side, he was on the left side of that scale. I was on the right side of that scale. About my whole life. So.
And that means diabetes is your big worry.
Yeah. So I was worried about my health. And it was kind of funny because most of my programmer friends are kind of overweight, and you know, you sit at our desk all the time, just hacking code and doing that sort of thing, eating donuts, which is pretty good. And I still eat donuts, but I now eat them in moderation, and I now kind of have an idea for when I should eat a donut and when I shouldn't. But so I started doing something like Eric did with his book, and this was back in probably October, around Halloween of last year, and I started looking at, you know, what my weight was. I started recording that and that sort of stuff. Started sitting on the scale, looking at the numbers, kind of seeing my weight go up and down and up and down. And then I kind of thought, I'm maybe gonna try some stuff, right? Like to lose weight, because I tried doing to lose weight, and I tried like Atkins and these types of things. And well, with Atkins, I don't know if you know, but I read it as eat as much bacon as you possibly can. So that's what I read. Okay, stop eating bread. Okay, check, no bread. Bacon was in, and I ate a lot of bacon, and it didn't work for me, and I felt so sick all the time. And I got like this. I got the flu, and in my head I'm thinking I gotta lose weight, right? I gotta lose weight, and I gotta cook bacon. And I got the flu, and it was horrible, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. And so I tried that, and I actually did lose about 10 pounds, and then I gained it all back again when I started eating just a little bit of grains of bread. Like just boom, right back on. So I did some reading, and
bacon with bread.
Yeah, so I basically did some reading, and I think weight loss should be more scientific than, you know, what the media says. Like, don't eat, you know, eat whole grains, do that, do this, stop eating fat, right? Very complicated, way too complicated. It's got to be an easier answer. So I started looking into it, and from the blogs that I trolled, the general consensus, and I did only about 8 hours of investigation, but the general consensus, right, I spent 8 hours to try to get my life back into order. I don't know why I couldn't, anyway. The general consensus was calories in, calories out. If what you actually expend, right, is more or less, that's how your weight is going to adjust, right? So if your body's burning 3,000 calories based on your BMR, which is your metabolic rate, then you can eat 3,000 calories, your weight will pretty much stay the same. If you have a deficit of calories, then you'll start to lose weight. It doesn't matter what, apparently by the science, it doesn't matter what kind of foods you're eating, whether it be whatever, whole grains or McDonald's. In fact, I read a blog post that talked about eating fast food, and in fact, eating on a fast food diet, strictly on Twinkies, McDonald's. This guy actually this guy was a nutrition professor, and he actually lost 30 pounds, and he had to stop losing weight, because his wife was saying, stop losing weight, and you're eating all this fast food, you're gonna die, right? And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about that, but I thought that there's gotta be some element of truth to this, so I started recording it, and the one app that I've got on my iPhone, and I only did this later on, but I recorded on paper like Eric was doing, but the app I have is called Lose It, and essentially what you do is you record your calories of what you're eating, and you actually have to figure out what your calories are. So it's a little bit difficult. You have to go to the website, see how much is a banana, how much is this. There's a lot of numbers, right? And it's a little bit weird when you're really hungry to try to go and figure out am I going to eat this banana or not? But it was more like a very scientific thing for me, right? Like I thought, hey, if I go and I try to apply this, it's going to work. So I started doing it, and it actually did work for me. Like I started to gradually lose weight. and I kept on losing weight to the point where people were telling me to stop losing weight, and I kind of thought that was funny, so I just didn't listen to them. I just kept on going. And I said, okay, fine, I'm just gonna hit my goal, and I kept on, and then I eventually hit my goal, and I surpassed my goal. And that's when I started to think, okay, this is really, really amazing. And I started writing down stuff. I started writing a book on weight loss. So I've already penned like 50 pages or something like that. I'm probably not going to publish it because there's already a lot of literature out on there on weight loss. But what it actually did is allow for me to keep going with my plan, right? So I got some really interesting facts around like the fact that, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like a whale, like essentially a whale, like a killer whale, I believe, can eat almost your entire lifetime worth of calories in a single bite. Like seriously, just boom, in and out. It's pretty impressive. It's like 500,000 or 1 million calories. It's pretty crazy, but it puts things in perspective, right? Like these are massive animals, right? And they just essentially swallow like, and so it's really a calorie thing, right? Even to whales, like how much they eat as well. So, anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, so now I lost all my weight, and I was like, okay, now what do I want to do? Tracking kind of worked.
Do you mind telling us how much weight you lost?
I lost 70 pounds.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, I lost 70, and that was only over about 5 months.
Wow.
So,
okay, I need to chat.
It was pretty rapid. Like people were like, "Who are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing?" Like, are you have cancer? Like, maybe. I mean, that's,
how long ago was that?
no, this is like the last year. Like,
Wow. So like
just it's recent, right? And so it's a pretty good success story, I think. But I don't know. So then I thought, okay, now I'm like getting really skinny, right? And I'm like, I look kind of weird, right? So, and I still kind of look weird, but I said, okay, so now what about fitness? Because as a geek, I completely ignored fitness my entire life. Like you know, gym class was out, sports was out, I have a computer, I have virtual games, like that's my competitive sport, right? Is video games. So I said, okay, so what am I going to do? How am I going to learn fitness? I can't go to a gym because I commute really far. So how am I gonna get fit and build some muscle? So I started looking into social networks, and I came across a social network called Fitocracy. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. So I'll bring it up on the screen, but Fitocracy is
Democracy.
it's kind of like rule by the
Democracy.
in my head. This is how it's spelled. And English is not my first language. Well, it is, but programming.
What's your
Anyway, well, if the founder of the company sees this, he's gonna not like this. But anyway, so this is like a social network, and essentially, I don't know if anyone's heard of gamification, or the concept of basically leveling up within the context of some sort of system, right? This is a fitness social network with gamification aspects. So you can essentially record your workouts and get feedback on your workouts from other members and level up based on your workouts. And I think that fits into what you're doing, right? Paper, but now
yeah, but here
on the internet.
Yeah, you can
now,
see right there, front barbell squat. That's exactly the
yesterday.
thing I'm recording.
Yeah, so this guy here basically ended up getting, you know, how many super great got over 1,000 points for his workout, and two people basically gave him props. So these are virtual props. So if you're in the gym, the guy would be like, "Yeah, man, great job." This is that same thing on the interweb. The nice thing is that essentially you can get feedback. You kind of want, like, once you start tracking, you kind of want to track things, right? You want to keep on going because you have this feedback loop of people actually commenting on your weight gains and commenting on the types of activities you're doing, and they're even suggesting the type of activities for you to do, right? So if for me, I was a one-trick pony, and I still kind of am. But you can see here's my most used activities. So I'm doing mostly calisthenics, like body weight stuff. So pull-ups, chin-ups, I'm trying the handstand push-ups. And before I started, I could only do one push-up, and now I'm up to a lot of push-ups. That's all I was doing, was just push-ups, and some guys start going, dude, you're absolutely insane. But you're gonna be like this, you're gonna overdevelop your muscles in one area and not, I don't know, you're gonna break something. It's not gonna be fun. So they suggested, you wanna go and buy a pull-up bar and do pull-ups. So I worked up to that. Couldn't do a pull-up the first time, and then boom, 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 and now I work that into my regimen. So I'll show you kind of what happens here. But like if I was gonna actually add push-ups, you can actually add how many reps you have here, and you can put a note. And I'm gonna log this, and then someone may comment on that later. I can share that via Twitter, so you have a social network thing. People can comment on it and cross-comment and that sort of thing. They've just recently set up, like Dick Talents, which is one of the co-founders, they've just set up recording body weight as well. So they love data there, so they're gonna expose charts and metrics based on what people are doing to help guide, I guess, the group of people, right, and their behaviors. So I think it's pretty neat. You can see like you can join groups. Like I've got a couple of groups here. So web programmers, I kill zombies, and this is really neat because people will create quests for you, and some of these quests are kind of like, well, yeah, like the world's coming to an end, and what do you need to do to prepare yourself for the zombie apocalypse? And so I don't know, it's really neat. Like I guess. The more you log, the more you want to come back and log. It's a little addictive. And the nice thing is you don't, in this case, you don't pay for a personal trainer because you've really got an entire social network of personal trainers to leverage, which is pretty amazing, I think. And now, I don't think they've exposed graphs yet, and that might be coming down the road. But I can see them exposing graphs to see what your gains are and that sort of thing. I can tell you right now that my gains are much higher because I'm using this system. So.
When did you start using it? So.
Oh, Fitocrassing? Maybe in June or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably about June. Not that many months, right? But it kind of, some people will be like, can you try to do some more? And it's kind of like this feedback loop of trying to.
Is there an iPhone app or something?
So there's a big announcement coming soon, and I think one of that will everyone's been asking for an iPhone app. And so they're either going to expose an API or they're going to release a smartphone app, whether it be iPhone or Android or whatever.
You have to take it to the gym with you, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the feedbacks. People kind of write on the paper, and then they bring it home and they log it, right? So, but people want to be logging it in the thing. So that's kind of what I got to share with you guys. It shows you the notifications, and you can go and So I asked, why is it weird to feel your abs burn when doing pull-ups, right? And people are like, yeah, But essentially, you can I mean, what else are you gonna ask on a social network about fitness, right? Like, people talk about their days where they're off days. Like I seriously, I didn't work out, but I just ate 17 pizzas. And then people will be like, "Good job, man, great job," right? And so, but it's like if you were to look at your actual, so this is my last 15-minute thing workout yesterday. So I was kind of tired, so I only did some stuff, but essentially that's what a workout might look like. So you've got people commenting on stuff. It's pretty interesting.
Can you export the
your
data?
actual workout there?
Sorry, I missed it.
Was that your actual workout there?
That was mine. Yeah, that's me, the guy with the cartoon guy. I gotta get a picture, another picture. I said, but yeah.
So sorry, can you export the data for that?
Not yet, but they're going to expose an API so they can get at stuff. Because right now you have to kind of scrape and scrape, which is not really, which is not fun, and it's kind of convoluted. But yeah, it would be awesome. It would be awesome to get it out.
So, with the food tracking, it's the same website, or was that something else? Because I know you mentioned.
So food tracking was different.
Oh, okay. What would you use for that?
So the one I use for that is called Lose It, and this is kind of what it looks like, but it will look like that on your iPhone.
That's like kind of the opposite of the McDonald's million sold counter.
And it's 6 killer whale daily diet.
This is for the iPhone. I don't know if it's on Android, but you can. This is really. I use this still to track my body weight, just not my what I eat anymore because I don't care. Because I think I've adjusted my metabolism enough, and my habits have adjusted such that I don't need to record what I eat anymore. But my weight is still weird because I'm figuring about water retention and when I do lifting and stuff like that. I don't want to know how it's adjusting.
Oh yes, I wanted to mention at the last meeting, somebody talked about this app or whatever that used Amazon mechanical triggers to identify the calorie count of food. So you take a picture and they would go figure out how many calories that was. So
I think that would be awesome.
There is an app that does that.
Yeah,
There
it's
you go.
Meal Snap, I think. or
Yeah,
something
you
like
just
that.
take a picture and it tells you.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you
something like that.
immediately, but it will tell you later.
Does it send you to the Turks?
Anyway, there might be an unrated,
No, I mean like did that meal snap use the Amazon Turks?
probably or
Yeah,
something.
something like that. They don't say how they do it, but I think
That's
it's
cute.
how they do
I don't know.
Sorry, what was that called?
it. Meal Snap?
Yeah, I mean if it was generic it would be really difficult to figure out. So yeah, so this is cool. You can track. It has a huge database of foods, and if you do use it, the one trick that I found was it doesn't have every single food in it. Sorry.
Sorry,
It's okay.
I'm just reading. I'm just reading the 96% of users who use it.
Yeah, like most people will lose weight on because it's science, right? If you're eating less food than your body burns, you're gonna lose weight. And you gotta remember that you're gonna know a little bit about water retention and stuff. If you do a big, huge sodium intake event, you may retain a bunch of water, right? So a lot of people don't realize that even when they're dieting, they may actually retain a bunch of water a couple of days later or even throughout the whole weight loss event because all they're eating is a lot of salt, right? And so a lot of people give up because they see their weight shoot up, right? But really they've lost the fat. They're doing water retention, right? So there's a lot of tricks and stuff like that, right? That we have to know. But if you consistently log and you consistently try to reduce your calories, you still see a pattern of the graph going down,
What were
right?
some of your tricks for reducing the sodium or balancing the sodium?
Sorry?
What were some of your tricks to reduce the water mass?
Drink water.
Yes.
No,
Keep yourself hydrated, basically.
So water is really weird. If you drink a lot of water, your body will can only store so much and will start to flush excess water, right? It's funny because they say like one food to actually retain or to hydrate you is actually soup because it's full of salt, which tells you to hydrate yourself. It tells you to retain that water, right? Because it's a great blend of salt and water, right? So you're going to do that. The biggest thing I've seen is consistently drinking enough water throughout the day and every day, and reducing the amount of foods that have a lot of salt in them or sodium. Well, essentially, you will slowly get back to where you should be. If you then suddenly go and you just do a huge carb feed or eat a bunch of sodium, boom, you could retain a lot of that extra water that you have. The next day you could jump 5 pounds. Like you could just boom, you just be right back up with water retention. They also say that I think what is that?
Did you cut your soda intake? Your salt intake?
Sorry?
Did you actually cut your salt intake or?
When I was dieting? No. and it's because I wasn't educated enough at the time to do that. And I actually, as I got further into it, I started to say, oh, maybe I should cut a little bit of salt. But salt's not bad for you, right? Like in fact, you need that balance in your system of salt and water, right? And so I would just say, like, if you get enough water into your drink, get a bottle of water every day, and environmental friendly if you have one of those reusable things, and fill it with, keep on filling it with water and keep on drinking it, right? You know, it sounds like rocket science, but most people don't do it.
I agree.
Most people just kind of, oh, I'm not really thirsty, and then when I get thirsty, I'll drink water, but that's actually too late, right? You need to drink the water throughout the day. So,
Can I just mention, I'm really glad you mentioned this because I'm a vegetarian, and every dietitian or every like gym that I've gone to, they've always told me, you don't eat enough protein, you eat, you know, too much carbs. And the thing is that every time I've tried a higher protein diet, I found it so hard to maintain because they wanted me to eat a bunch of dairy, and I don't like eating that much dairy. Yes, but even so much, it was never enough. I could never, you know, eat as much protein as they wanted me to eat. And they kept saying, oh well, you know, for you to be this way, you have to eat this much protein and this much carbs and so much fat. So I'm really, really interested. I want to see.
protein and.
I'm not saying to not eat protein,
So-
it's good to
so-
have protein, but then at the same time they're wanting, yeah.
The one thing I noticed, and it was because of Lose It that I found out later, because I only used Lose It probably within the last month of my weight loss. I actually got to see the kind of foods that I was eating. I was actually eating a very high fat diet. So if my percentage of what I was eating was something like 40% fat, you know, I can't do math, 30% whatever carbs, and then 10% protein, like very, very low protein intake. Protein's very high in calories. I mean, it's great for building muscle, right, and retaining muscle. But it is, most protein things are calorie rich, right? Meat is calorie rich.
With
right?
protein you usually get fat, not always, but often, right?
Yeah, but even, yes,
For-
that's right,
yeah.
that's right. Most steaks are not lean, right? But that doesn't mean that you wouldn't lose weight. In fact, if you had a high, it was calories, right?
Right, if it's a
Well,
calories, then it should work.
it was just the calories. I just found that for me, when I was looking at what I was eating, protein always brought the most calories with it, right? So I tried to reduce the amount of that, which means potentially not eating a hamburger because it actually had protein, right? I would not. Protein is pretty awesome. Like if you talk to any weightlifter or anyone that's in fitness land, will tell you that protein is the most amazing thing ever, right? It's not the most amazing thing ever if you're trying to lose weight.
Okay, so thank you.
That's,
Thank you.
That was
Okay,
totally